You're listening to Straight Outta Stratford 203 with Zach and Julian, the best sports podcast in Connecticut. Sit back and enjoy the ride in 3, 2, 1.
Straight Outta Stratford, slinging takes like Stafford, talking all the big games, have a beer right after. When it comes to the facts and the stats we provide, better know that our names will be up in the rafters.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 8. I am your host, Zach, along with my co-host,
Julian.
And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to start off with a little bit of baseball. We're not going to get too much into it because there's nothing really good to be said about baseball right now, especially for our two teams. But we will touch on a little bit of NFL, some preseason stuff, because obviously the NFL season's right around the corner, as well as college football being right around the corner as well. But like I said, we'll start out with a little baseball. The Yankees and Mets are still struggling pretty bad. I mean, the Yankees are a little bit better, but both teams are definitely still struggling at this point of the season.
As of right now, both teams are still in the playoff race, which is the important thing. But as of right now, they both have a gauntlet that they're gonna have to face.
Oh yeah, no question about that. And I mean, both teams right now, I think we may have touched on it a little bit last week. We're holding on to very tight leads in the playoff race. The Mets are now a half game above the Cincinnati Reds for the last playoff spot with a 64-57 record. The Yankees have the exact same record and hold a one-game lead over the Cleveland Guardians. Or no, actually, they may be half a game as well, too, over the Cleveland Guardians for the final wild card spot in the American League. So both New York teams are hanging on for dear life, praying that they can just turn it around. Yeah, I would be curious to see if I'm pretty sure it's a half game, but still, both teams clinging on. Yeah, it's just what happened from the beginning of the season to now is absolutely mind-boggling to me that both New York teams are struggling as bad as they are, but not even just the Yankees. The Mets are, in my opinion, obviously I may be a Met fan, so I'm a little biased, but I think the Mets are worse. I mean, if you look at it right now, the Yankees lost, 2 of 3 games to the Astros this week and then beat the Minnesota Twins 2 out of 3 games. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Yeah. They at least have 4 wins.
Yeah.
The Mets have lost 13 of their last 15 games. They got swept by Milwaukee this week. And then...
Well, Milwaukee is the hottest team in baseball.
Well, I was going to say they are the hottest team in baseball, which makes sense. I believe their win streak right now is up to 12 games.
Wait, but didn't the Mets hit 6 home runs the other night?
They did, but we'll get into that. They broke their losing streak of 7 consecutive games after defeating the Atlanta Braves in the first game of the series, and that saw the Mets hit 6 home runs, including Pete Alonso hitting 2 of them to officially pass Darryl Strawberry as the New York Mets franchise leader in home runs. Congratulations to Pete Alonso. That's a great feat for him. I really hope that he does end up re-signing with the Mets. I've liked him. I know he's had his struggling moments, but baseball's not an easy sport. It's one of the hardest sports to play, to be honest with you, just because hitting a major league pitch is one of the toughest things to do in any sport. So,
especially when it's coming at you at
100 miles an hour, even with breaking pitches and stuff like that. It's still incredible. But regardless, they won that first game in the series, and it looked like, maybe the Mets bats have finally come alive. And then they start the second game out, winning 6-0 in the third inning. They allowed 11 consecutive runs and lost the game 11-6. And then the last game was last night. They proceeded to blow a 1-run lead going into the 8th inning and lost 4-3 to the Atlanta Braves. So like I said, they have now lost 13 of their last 15 games, and they only hold a half-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds. But the part that makes me more frustrated about it is a stat. Since June 13th, that's a big day that we've talked about because that's when the Mets' downfall kind of started, they have had the least amount of innings pitched by starting pitchers in the entire major leagues. That's horrible. And on top of that, out of all the leads that they blew this week, they blew, 3, 4, or more run leads in their last 4 games.
That's insane. I mean, when you look at it like that, you're looking at it and you're like, this team, they went out at the deadline and they essentially got
a super bullpen.
A super bullpen with
super trash.
They got a super bullpen with Ryan Helsley,
who's been awful. He even acknowledged it the other night.
Ryan Helsley has been awful. They have they traded for Trevor Rogers.
Trevor Rogers, yep. And he's been okay. They haven't really used him as much as I thought that they were going to.
And they traded for Gregory Soto, right?
And Soto wasn't even that bad either. The biggest problem I've seen from them, again...
That is the best Soto on the team right now.
Well, yeah, that's not saying much. But again, the biggest thing that frustrated me the most about it is not only did they go get those guys for the pen, they still continue to use guys like Reed Garrett and Ryan Stanek in huge parts of the game where you're holding on to a 1 or 2 run lead and they blow it. And then even Helsley was the one that blew it last night. He came in the 8th inning and let up 2 hits and I believe 2 runs, and they ended up going from winning 3-2 to losing 4-3. And then the Mets bats decided, game's over. We're just, going to go up there, take a couple weird hacks, and we'll call it a night. And I'm going to sit here again and say it is a lot on the players. They need to be better. We know this. But at the same time, I blame Mendoza because he cannot light a fire under anybody in that dugout right now. And I blame David Stearns because the starting pitching, the bullpen, the guys that they acquired during the offseason have been god-awful. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I saw this the other day, and it's not going to help your bullpen, but it may refrain them from using some of those newer guys that they did get at the deadline.
Is it who I think it is?
I saw they're moving Montas to the bullpen.
Yes, and you know why they did that?
Because he can't pitch.
No,
I'm not saying he can't pitch. He can pitch, but after he gets through 1 or 2 innings, he struggles.
Well, it's not so much that either. It is, you're right, but the big reason why they are moving him to the bullpen is because they've decided that they are officially calling up Nolan McLean from AAA. He will be making his MLB debut tomorrow against the Seattle Mariners, and his stats from AAA, I mean, the win-loss category is a little bit strange because it's hard to determine how good a pitcher is based off of wins and losses, especially at the major league level. Look at Paul Skeens, for example, best pitcher in the league, probably hasn't won many games because he gets no help. But that being said, he's 5-4 in 16 games pitched with a 2.78 ERA, 87 and a third innings with 97 strikeouts and 38 walks. I'm definitely excited to see what the guy's going to bring to this lineup. They needed a new face and a fresh start for some of those arms because I think, to be honest, it was last night, I believe, was it Senga that started? I think Senga started. He actually went more than 5 innings, which the Mets pitchers haven't done in God knows how long. So that was a little bit shocking. It was very strange, but still, at least with McLean, if you can get a decent 5 or 6 out of him, even if he lets up a couple runs, I'm not going to expect him to be scoreless or not allow a hit. But as long as he can come in, limit some damage, and just get through some of those chunk innings, 4, 5, and 6, second time through the batting order, maybe the third time depending. But they got to at least get some production out of their starting pitching because they can't connect the dots. It's just bad. It's bad.
I'm going to say one thing. Mm-hmm. It's Nolan McLean, right? That's what you said?
Yes.
I don't really follow the Mets minor league system, so I don't know much about him. But to call him up and have him start against the Mariners, which are not arguably, are definitely the hottest team in the American League right now.
It's definitely ballsy.
It's a ballsy strategy.
It is.
And I know the Yankees, when they did that with Schlittler, I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing Schlittler and McLean at all.
I know.
I'm just saying that when they did do that with Schlittler, there was no Josh Naylor. There was no Eugenio Suarez.
That's true.
And there wasn't any other acquisitions that they got at the deadline.
Well, the thing is, for me, I think it just shows that if you're going to throw him in against a team like that, you got to have confidence in the guy.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Well, I'm not saying the Mets don't have confidence in him, but what I'm saying is if he goes out there against a team like that and does poorly,
yeah.
Not only does it show that you made a mistake by telling him that No, you're not making a mistake, but
I get your point. Yes,
there's obviously a better pitcher that you could throw out there. I know, like the rest and whatever, the 5 days, like whatever, but it could also destroy the kids' like confidence.
Well, a little bit, but the thing you got to remember is, especially with a lot of these guys, they're just thrilled for the opportunity to go up there, even if it doesn't end up working their way. The kid's a young guy. I don't remember how exactly young he is. I know he's not that old. He's only been in the system for so long, but you're going to have other moments where he's going to have to come up and he'll have the development and he'll kind of learn. It's not easy making that quick jump.
I know, but what I'm saying is coming from a franchise that, number one, prospect hugs, the Yankees, they prospect hug and they ruin the development of young pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Mets have been actually pretty good with developing some pitchers.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying is that's why for the Mets, I would want them to bring this kid up and have him be amazing and not have to bring him back down.
Of course, but
because I remember, I believe it was 2020, the next big pitching prospect for the Yankees was supposed to be Davy Garcia. And
Delvey Garcia, or is that the little short guy, right?
It's Devy Garcia.
They brought him up,
and he was electric, amazing. He was phenomenal. He got hurt. I believe he had to get, it was either Tommy John or something, and he missed like part of the season and some of the next season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they brought him back, his command wasn't the same, so they would send him up and down.
Yeah, it's not good for a player either.
What they did was they sent him up, they sent him down, they brought him up, they moved him to the bullpen, and that ruined the trajectory of his career. I don't know what team he plays for right now.
I don't even know either.
I mean, Devy Garcia was supposed to be the next big pitching prospect from the Yankees.
Yeah, I just hope that the Mets don't do that either, but I know that they have faith in what they got in their system. They actually moved up a lot of prospects this past week. They moved up their draft pick Carson Benj, who's also in AAA now. They moved up Jet Williams, who is now in AAA. They moved up Jonah Tong, who's now in AAA. I mean, they started calling some guys up because they are preparing for the future, which is a good thing. These kids are young. They got talent.
Another thing that I talked upon, I don't know if it was last week or the week before that, was the Yankees know how to produce catchers.
Oh, yeah. We
talked about this.
Point,
but what I don't understand, right, is every single catcher prospect that they traded away has panned out and has become somewhat decent in the MLB and has been usable.
Well, it's not a surprise, though.
And the one guy that they hold on to
has not been
good. I love Austin Wells. He's a great guy. I love his energy, but he cannot hit at the moment. At the moment, he can't hit. I don't think he'd be able to hit a beach ball if it was thrown at him.
I don't even know if he'd be able to hit a car if it was thrown at him. But yeah, no, he's going to have his struggle moments too. I know catchers really aren't supposed to be your best hitters on the team.
No, but he shouldn't be hitting 200.
No, he should not be hitting 200. I'm not trying to make an excuse for him. But, I mean, it's...
Another thing that happened now is that if Goldschmidt's out for a while...
Yeah, I saw that
knee. I don't know what they're going to do. They can pivot one of two ways. Is they could have Rice at first, put Wells back in the lineup, or they could keep Wells
out of the
lineup, use him when they need him, give him his off days, swap him with Rice once every 4 games, once every 3 games, whatever. They can move Bellinger to first.
And then you could keep Grisham. Well, you still have Grisham, so you can put
Grisham out there. And then you put Stanton in right.
Ooh.
Well, he's actually been...
Well, I know, but still, that's not an ideal
It's not an
fielder.
ideal... No, well, we keep him in right till Judge goes back in the field.
Which, then, God knows when that happens, but...
it should be next week.
Oh, okay.
And then you have Dominguez in the left, Stanton or Judge in the right, or put Bellinger at first. You put Grisham in center, leave Dominguez in the left, and you call up Spencer Jones.
That's a possibility too. I don't know if
I believe
will.
Spencer Jones has been on the 40-man roster all season. So, I mean, he may be, I don't know if he's playoff eligible, but I think he's been on the 40-man roster long enough to be playoff eligible.
Oh, he probably
And
is.
what they need right now is that one player.
They need a spark.
That will bring a spark to the lineup.
They need a spark.
And if Spencer Jones can come up and give the Yankees that spark in the lineup that they need, if teams struggle facing the Yankees with having a right-handed hitting Aaron Judge, if Spencer Jones can come up and continue the numbers he's putting up in AAA, teams are going to struggle more.
Yeah.
Because what they need is that the Yankees need another bat, which teams are worried about. Like last year, right? The Yankees did so well because 1, 2, and 3 was, I believe, one was usually it was either Rizzo or
was it Rizzo?
It was either Rizzo or Verdugo. It was someone.
Well, I know they moved.
No, it was Glaber. It was Glaber or Volpe, most likely.
It was probably Glaber, to be honest with you.
It was Glaber. It was Soto, and then it was Judge. It was Glaber, Judge, and then Soto. The only reason it was either one of those two ways. The only reason they did well was because pitchers pitched to Soto, so Judge didn't have to come up with runners on base.
Yeah, and that's not helpful either.
Even when you had runners on first and second with a base open, they didn't pitch around Soto because they knew the next guy up.
Oh, the next guy up is Aaron Judge, who's even better. So it's just
what they need is another bat like that where if they put him in front of Judge or behind Judge, other teams are going to be like, what are we going to do? Because this next guy up is a monster.
Well, you're going to have to hope that he's a superstar. Now, granted, he has done really well in AAA, but again, we've talked about it. There's that confidence level. It's a big adjustment going from AAA to the majors.
I think that if Spencer Jones were to get called up, I think his confidence level would stay the same.
Maybe. I mean, the only person that would know is Spencer Jones.
Yeah.
So,
but what I'm saying is if they do call him up, which I hope they do, I hope they call him up in September for September call-ups. At least if they don't.
They may. I think, to be honest, they should, and I believe that they will do it. But anyways, I've had enough talking about baseball. New York baseball's been horrible. Hopefully the teams turn it around. They're still in the playoff race.
The only bright spot on the Yankees team right now is Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah. Well, Judge hit his first home run being back.
But Stanton's hitting .299.
Yeah, Stanton's been hitting the ball a lot better, but like I said.
Since when have you ever heard Stanton hit the ball .299?
Probably earlier in his career. But like I said, both teams need to kind of wake it up. Hopefully, I said it before, the Yankees can get that production as long as Judge and Stanton continue to hit the ball and they can get some decent pitching and their bullpen holds. The Mets just need to wake up completely because if both of these teams do not start figuring out their strengths and weaknesses and start really lighting the fire, both teams may not even make the playoffs. I know that I'm assuming the Mets are probably not going to make it because they got themselves a pretty tough schedule. But regardless, we'll move off baseball. I'm already sick of it because I'm looking forward to football season. So we talked about this the last episode. And I posted a few videos on social media of our little clips that we had when we were in here discussing this. And people were arguing with me again like I'm crazy. But again, I was right. James Cook signed his contract extension, which ended up being a 4-year, $48 million contract with $30 million guaranteed. So he is now on average making $12 million a year.
Well,
and we discussed it before. I said he should not eclipse. I thought it was fair that he was from 10 to 12.
It was funny because we actually still have the script from last week here.
Yeah, I know we do.
And we have. You said he should land somewhere in between where?
Let me see. I can tell you right now if I looked at it. I said that he should end up somewhere in between Kamara and Aaron Jones, which is 100% right. It was from $12.25 million to about $10 million, which is exactly what I said. So from 10 to 12, and I had somebody argue with me online and say, well, he's very impactful for Buffalo, which is, again, very good argument. He is. He's impactful, but not as impactful as others.
But there's no way he scores, I believe it was 17 touchdowns last year.
No, he scored 16 last year, which was, again,
there's no way he scores 16 again this year.
But it's besides that point. It's also the fact that, like I said, when you have guys, like we have the list, like Alvin Kamara. Now, granted, Alvin Kamara is 30 years old. He's going on 31. I know, I was surprised by that too. He's going on he's going on 31. He signed his contract extension in 2024. The market was still a little bit different then. Obviously, it's only a year difference, but a year difference can still make a significant change.
But when you're looking at Alvin Kamara, right, the dude is a stud.
Oh, I know he is. I have him in fantasy football every year.
Not only is he a power back, he's also an elusive back.
He is. He's a good mix.
And the funny thing that I find, the thing I find funny with Alvin Kamara is whenever you see him run, it looks like he's jogging.
Oh yeah, he looks effortless.
It doesn't look like he's trying at all.
Yeah. Just like that run against the Green Bay Packers,
Yes.
I believe he had on Christmas, where he just looked like he was floating.
Like when it was, I believe it was like the screen pass, right?
Yeah, and he just floated up the sideline.
Floated up the side. He looked like he was jogging.
Yeah, now, but
It looks like if he were to actually try to run, he would run like a 4.32 40.
oh yeah, of course. But my thing was, when I saw people arguing with me, like I said online, they're saying, well, he deserves the $15 million, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, you know,
Who deserves $15 million? James Cook.
James Cook, yeah. I saw several people say, oh, well, James Cook is a high contributor. Now, granted, listen, if Kyren Williams can run for back-to-back 1,000-yard years and contribute the way he did the past 2 seasons, and he's only making $11 million, I was like very confused saying, how does he deserve 15 then? And it's like, again, like I said last episode, it's not a shot at James Cook. James Cook is a top 10 running back in the NFL right now, in my opinion.
No doubt about it. But when you're looking at it like this, if you look at the Rams last year, who did they have on their team? They had Matthew Stafford as the quarterback, right? Great quarterback. Josh Allen's also pretty good.
Josh Allen is, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL.
Wide receiver,
That's my opinion.
wide receiver room. I back that. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Most versatile for sure, but I think he's the best. But anyway, continue.
You look at a guy like Josh Allen and you think, oh, he's gonna sit in the pocket and just throw the ball. You are dead wrong.
Oh, you're in for
Josh Allen could run the ball 70 yards to touchdown, and you won't even expect it.
No, and he'll barrel through people. Too.
I remember
Shoulder.
it was earlier on in his career, before it was like a known player. I think they were playing the Ravens or the Vikings, and Josh Allen.
The hurdle.
That
was against the Minnesota Vikings, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I know he did get concussed from that play, but still.
Yeah, but even then. But my point
going back to what
Cook,
I'm saying, right?
Yes.
If you look at the wide receiver room for the Rams, you had Puka Nacua,
Yep.
Cooper Kupp,
Yep.
and DeMarcus Robinson, right?
That was a great room, yeah. I
And
enjoyed
you still
that.
had Tutu Atwell.
Yeah, and Jordan Whittington as well, too. I mean, they had a good room.
And
those guys really aren't as
And
much used.
the tight end was
Tyler Higbee.
Even
though, actually, no, he may have been hurt last year, too. So it was either between Davis Allen or... Who's the other one? There's one other one that they had, too, that they were on and off. It wasn't Kendall Blanton. I know he was out. Regardless, they still had a good offense.
What I'm saying is Kyren didn't score as many touchdowns because Stafford has weapons.
Yeah.
If you look at it, Stafford had Nacua, he had Kupp, he had
Higbee,
or Whittington, or Atwell, or
DeMarcus Robinson.
When you look at what Buffalo had, Khalil Shakir. There's what's his name? He was a rookie last year.
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, but he didn't really have he had a good year, but not as great as everyone was hyping him up to have, especially being that he was the clear-cut number 2
receiver.
They
had Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and I believe it was Mac Hollins.
Yeah, yes, it was Mac Hollins, and then they also had Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. They still, like we've talked about, they still had good enough weapons.
That's one thing that I'm going to talk about real quick is Dawson Knox was amazing 2 or 3 years ago, and now they drafted a tight end.
Did they draft one this year?
No, they drafted Kincaid after they already had Dawson Knox.
And Kincaid hasn't done squat.
No, but they're still using him as a tight end 1.
Well, they're still using him as tight end 1, but he gets no production. I saw another video of guys talking about it the other night saying how, is this the year you finally kind of bet on Kincaid to be a stellar?
Tight ends you stay away from in fantasy this year. I am saying this right now. Do not pick up Kincaid and do not draft Kyle Pitts.
I don't trust the Atlanta Falcons offense at all either.
The only player on the offense you should draft is Bijan Robinson. What?
What about Drake London? He had a really good year last year, though.
Drake London had a good year last year. I mean, yeah, but...
And they still have Darnell Mooney, no?
They do have Darnell Mooney. What I'm saying is
fantastic,
the only player that you can draft from the Falcons offense that is going to be consistent every week is Bijan Robinson.
Oh, yeah, no question about it.
I'm not taking away from Drake London's ability to go up there and grab a 50-50 ball, which...
He can.
But
not every time. Or
his ability to make a play or run a route. He's a phenomenal player, but if you're looking for numbers, just take Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that he's a unanimous number 2 pick in the draft this year for fantasy football.
Bijan Robinson is an athletic freak of nature.
I know he is, no question about it, but it's just you look at other teams and their production level, and people are saying, oh, well, Bijan's the number 1 running back that should be taken in fantasy football.
Now,
that's steep, man.
Now, speaking of Bijan, his contract is up in 2 or 3 years?
Is it up in 2 or 3 years? Oh, yeah, well, he's on his rookie deal.
He's on his rookie year deal still, so looking at this list, right, that we have last week, where do you think he lands?
Ooh.
Because Saquon's making 20.6. McCaffrey's making 19. Henry's making 15.
I could potentially see him somewhere in the 15, somewhere, I'd say from 14 to 16.
Jonathan Taylor's making 14. Do you think he's better than Jonathan Taylor?
I don't know.
Look at it this way. Jonathan Taylor got his contract last year.
Yeah.
But he got it based off what he did before his production last year, before it was when he was hurt.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I mean, we've only seen 2 or 3 years out of Bijan so far.
Well, it may also just be what he does in the Falcons' offense. Because, again, like I said a couple seconds ago, I don't trust Atlanta's offense. I don't.
Michael Penix he's a great quarterback.
It's not even that he's just a great quarterback, though. I mean, he has his moments. He's still learning. He's still learning the playbook. He doesn't really have that top-level chemistry with his receivers yet because they only used him so much. So there's still a big question mark that hangs over.
Who's their offensive coordinator? Is it Matt Canada?
I would pray to God it's not. But what my thing being is I just don't trust Atlanta. They for some reason, I have a feeling about them. I'm obviously, as a Rams fan, I'm rooting against them this year because we have their draft pick. So the worse they do, the better for the Rams. But my point being is Michael Penix showed a couple good signs last year.
It is Zach Robinson. Zach Robinson is their offensive coordinator. He was previously the quarterback coach and passing coach for the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, shoot. The name, I'm sitting there blanking for a second. Oh, because I'm sitting here, duh. I'm an idiot. I literally just said, who?
You're a Rams fan,
and I'm
buddy.
a Rams fan. But the name just didn't click. I'm like, Zach Robinson. Who is Zach? And then the minute you said passing, I went, oh. Yeah, he was on the team in 2023, I believe, and then he left, and he's probably been there. I think he's going on his second year with them now.
Yeah.
Wow, I completely forgot that. But still, it's not that I don't trust him, because he was a good dealing with the Rams. But for me, I just struggle to see that Atlanta offense become what it potentially could be. You have so many names that we've already said, like the hype behind Kyle Pitts. Drake London getting a ton of hype. Bijan being the guy that he is.
Coming out of college, Kyle Pitts was set to, you would have thought he was going to be the next Antonio Gates.
It's not even that. People were saying that what they're doing with Brock Bowers now
is what they should have done with Kyle Pitts.
Exactly what they were doing with Kyle Pitts, but the skill level and the statistics to back it wasn't even close. Bowers is that guy. He is. People are already saying he's the best tight end in football. Kyle Pitts, when he was getting drafted out of college, people were saying this kid's going to be the best tight end in football for a long time. And he came in and underwhelmed, and people said, it's a rookie slump. It happens.
Yeah.
It's tough to get adjusted to the NFL. He's just got to deal with a couple things. He doesn't really have the best. They were coming up with any excuse possible.
Look at it. But then when you look at Quentin Johnston, they were like, oh, this guy sucks.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because when you look at Kyle Pitts' rookie year, he was having the same problem with the drops.
I know, he was having problems with the drops, but like I said, they were coming up with more excuses. They were saying, he doesn't have a good quarterback. The offensive line hasn't
Who was
really
his
helped.
quarterback when he got drafted?
I believe wasn't it Kirk Cousins that one year? Yes. That first year he got drafted, I believe it was Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins was in Minnesota.
Yeah, but he was also in Atlanta.
Yeah, but Kyle Pitts has been in the league.
Kyle Pitts has been in the league for 3 years.
Yes. Last year was Kirk Cousins' first year in Atlanta.
I'm telling you right now, I could No, it was not. He had a couple games, it was, and he had Kyle Pitts last year, though.
Yes, but what I'm saying is his rookie year. Kyle Pitts' rookie year.
Kyle Pitts' rookie year was it Mariota?
It was either Mariota or was it was it Desmond Ridder?
Oh, that may have been. Yeah, but exactly my point. Desmond Ridder, Mariota.
Because I believe Matt Ryan was already gone at that point.
Yeah, Matt Ryan was gone at that point. But that brings me back to my point, though, saying he's never really had a top quarterback. So they were coming up with excuses saying, oh, well, you can't blame Kyle Pitts. He's just got to get that quarterback.
I'm looking that up because I need to
look it up. They were blaming him for everything, and now it's at the point where he's going, I believe, into his 4th season, and he hasn't done squat. So anyone could argue that, but the thing is, like, going back to the whole Bijan Robinson topic, I personally believe that he'll end up getting between 14 and 16. I think that's fair. He's definitely deserving of getting paid a ton of money because he's a very, very good running back. It's just that, again, is he Saquon? No. I'm not going to pay him $20 million. I'm not. Even a lot of people will argue, well, Christian McCaffrey doesn't deserve 19. When Christian McCaffrey had the year that he had when he first went to San Francisco, his first full year, he was deserving of the $19 million. He was the best running back.
Christian McCaffrey is an athletic specimen.
Oh, he's a freak. But that's the thing is people are saying, oh, well, he doesn't contribute as much anymore.
Christian McCaffrey, did you see when he was younger, his dad didn't allow him to wear jeans? Him and his brother, he told him on game day, don't wear jeans because they weigh down your legs. Wear sweatpants.
People are strange, man. I never knew that.
His dad, Ed McCaffrey, played in the NFL.
Well, I know I know he played for the Broncos and
the Giants.
And the Giants, yeah. But just the concept of don't wear jeans.
Look at the way Christian McCaffrey turned out.
Well, he's a freak. But anyways, back to McCaffrey. What I'm saying is when McCaffrey got his contract and he got paid, he deserved the $19 million. When Saquon got paid, he deserved the $20 million. When Derrick Henry got paid, I still think he was a little bit underpaid, but granted, they have a very high-paid offense somewhat. When Derrick Henry got paid, he deserved the $15 million. So
it was Marcus Mariota.
I know ball. But the thing is with them, like I said before, it's like it's hard to argue. Like going back to even James Cook, I said,
that's sad.
10 to 12 million was fair. 10 to 12 million for him was fair. He barely broke 1,000 yards. He did put up a lot of touchdowns, but there was not really many guys that Josh Allen was really getting the ball to, other than him and Shakir and sometimes Coleman, but you didn't really see that much.
Desmond Ridder was there too, though, so I was also correct.
And was Kirk Cousins there as well?
No,
too?
Kirk Cousins was still in Minnesota that year.
Well, no, but I'm saying not during that year, but then
last year Kirk Cousins played until they decided to start
to sit him and go with Michael Penix Jr. And he didn't do squat in the games with Kirk Cousins either. My point being, he has not performed, but people will blame his quarterbacks as well too.
All I'm saying is that where the Falcons are now, they are probably a lot better off than they were.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Because they had Pitts, they had London, but their running back one was Tyler Algier.
Oh yeah, Tyler Algier. Yeah.
Algier.
Hard last
He
name.
rushed for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
But
that's
you don't want that with your RB1.
No. Well, yeah, you need more with your RB as much as you
and your starting quarterback only having 2,219 yards through 13 games.
Ooh, that's not pretty either. But it's just like I said, man. Bijan's deserving of a payday at some point. I'm assuming he'll probably end up getting from 14 to 16, maybe 17.
Olamide Zaccheaus was their wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're making they made up a lot of excuses for Pitts. He had only 356 receiving yards.
Yeah. What, last year?
His rookie year.
That's still not good.
With 28 receptions on 59 targets.
Oof, 59 targets. Oh my God.
He averaged 12 and a half yards per reception, 2 touchdowns. His longest reception was 33 yards.
Wow. That's bad. That's very bad. You would have expected a lot more. He had a lot of hype going around him. But like I said, going back to the James Cook thing again before we kind of close out, and we'll touch a little bit on the preseason that we saw last week, is, like I said, James Cook was definitely deserving. I think it's a good contract for both parties. I think Cook definitely deserved the money that he got. every bit of it. He was a big producer in the touchdown area last year, where he put up, I think we said 16 touchdowns last season. He probably caught a couple as well, too. I believe that's just rushing touchdowns.
Well,
but he probably caught a couple, too. He was definitely deserving of 12. Again, I told you, I know what I'm talking about here. I knew that he should not get more than about like 12. Even 12 and a half wouldn't have been bad. But if you would have given him 13, 14, or $15 million, I just thought it would have been a little bit too steep. I think that he's still very good. Like I said, he's a top 10 running back, but a contract was fair.
His 2024 stats, he only rushed for
1,009 yards.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Which...
That's okay. I mean, if you break 1,000 yards, it's solid.
You eclipsed 1,000, but not by much.
No, I know. But still, breaking 1,000 yards is not
and
bad.
Only averaging 4.9 yards per carry.
That's impressive, though. 4.5 yards a carry.
4.9.
That's almost 5 yards a carry.
Yeah,
that's 2 rushes and that's a first down.
True.
That's pretty good.
He had 272 yards in the postseason, which is impressive.
That's, again, like I said, we've never argued that James Cook isn't good. I never said James Cook was not good.
They played what? 3 games in the postseason?
3.
272 through 3. No, was it 3 or 4? No, it was 3.
No,
it was
3.
2 or 3.
It was probably
because they beat the Broncos, right?
Yeah.
And then
they beat the Ravens.
And then they played the Chiefs.
Yeah, so they played 3 games, and he ran for 200 and what?
72, averaging 5.1 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns.
That's solid. A touchdown a game. He's averaging about like 70 on
53 carries.
Yards. Yeah, it's averaging 70 or 80 yards a game with a touchdown. That's a good day, especially during the postseason. That's very good.
But in order to get the 1,000 yards, he had 207 carries. But looking at his career, right? He has a career average of 4.9 yards per carry, which is amazing.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
He has 20 touchdowns in his career.
Good. Well, he had 16 last year.
His longest rushing touchdown is
70-something yards, probably.
70. Oh, wait, no, that was his total stats or career stats for as long as his 65 yards.
60. Okay.
And in the receiving category, he had 32 receptions last year for 258. With an average of 8.1 yards per carry per catch.
Per catch, wow. Okay.
2 touchdowns.
So
and his longest reception was 28 yards.
Yeah, so see right there, if the 16 rushing and, what did you say, 2 receiving?
That's 18 touchdowns.
18 all-purpose touchdowns. And he had like 1,300 or 1,400 all-purpose yards. That's pretty good.
1,267.
That's not bad. And that's why I said, like I said, it never was a shot at James Cook. He's a very good player. He is. It's just with the amount of money, and if you're comparing him to Derrick Henry or to Saquon or to McCaffrey or even Kamara, it's steep. It's tough. He's definitely deserving, I'd say, of equal to or a little bit more than Kyren Williams, because Kyren Williams fumbles the ball a lot. So that's why I was averaging him there, and I'm glad they got exactly what I said he was going to get because, like I said, it was the only right move for both parties to do so.
Now, speaking on
the preseason,
or just 2 things quickly. I believe it was either yesterday or the day before. Standout running back from Ohio State who got drafted by the Browns, Quinshon Judkins, got his charges dropped.
Oh, shoot. I did not know that.
He got his charges dropped, or the case got dismissed. So now, because there was not enough evidence to put him not enough proof to show that he actually did what was claimed that he did.
Wow.
And I'm going to actually pull this up because I don't want to be wrong about this.
That's crazy. Oh, my God. I did not even realize that. Because I think he's going to have a good year this year, because we're going to talk about some of the top players, or like a lot of the top draft picks, guys that have a lot of hype around them.
It says the NFL is still reviewing the case, the domestic violence case, but he won't face any charges. But it said Browns rookie Quinshon Judkins will not face any charges because of the case being dismissed.
Wow.
It said that there were the victim had several chances to file a report when she was with him and didn't for whatever reason.
Okay.
So they're saying the fact that she didn't do it fast enough or took a longer time, like there were like holes in the case. So.
Wow, I'd see that's big news for the Cleveland Browns because I think he's going to be very good as well too. You saw how well he did at Ohio State.
And speaking of the Cleveland Browns, getting another player that should have been a second, first, or late first, early second, possibly even early third draft pick, Isaiah Bond.
Oh yeah, I saw last
Isaiah Bond also was found innocent and then went to sign with the Cleveland Browns.
Did he sign with Cleveland?
I believe he did. I believe on his Instagram.
Wow. I did not know I knew that they said that I guess he was innocent, but that he was still eligible and remained a free agent, so people were able to sign him. I did not. If he signed with Cleveland, that's impressive because I was even saying last night, Isaiah Bond played at Alabama, and I believe he played at Alabama and Texas.
Yes.
Both years that he was there, at least that I witnessed, he made some incredible catches for both teams. He was very good at Texas. At Alabama, he was a superstar. I liked him when he was there. So if
Cleveland Browns to sign wide receiver Isaiah Bond after being no-billed in sexual assault case.
Wow. Okay. Cleveland Browns making
wide receiver Isaiah
moves.
Bond says he's signing with Cleveland following no bill ruled on his Instagram
because they still
bio.
have Jerry Jeudy, no?
They still have Jerry Jeudy.
Oof. If they could just figure their quarterback situation out, they may not be as bad as people are thinking because their defense really is not terrible.
No, it's not.
If they could just get a solid quarterback that gets them decent production and the O-line blocks for their running backs, they may actually be a pretty good team.
Which would be pretty funny.
That would be hysterical. Now, I'm not going to come out and say that they're going to make the playoffs. That's a long shot. But still, they may be a little bit more competitive than people think.
They lucked out with Judkins not facing any time.
And Isaiah Bond getting innocent too, and they were just able to scoop him right up. Wow. Holy smokes. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll go off those guys, and now we'll talk about actual guys.
Speaking of another wide receiver who didn't get – who? I don't know if this is from what happened last year, Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
His case got pushed back, so he's able to play in the first 4 games of the season. But then I believe after the first 4 games is actual sentencing for what he did last year with the highway, the remember?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
But still.
But
I don't know. A lot of these guys got to cut this garbage, man.
Now, speaking on preseason.
It's crazy.
Speaking of, there were a few rookie performances that were pretty
solid.
Pretty solid.
So, yeah, the first one that we are going to talk about is the obvious guy that was the number 1 pick in this year's draft was Cam Ward. So Cam Ward really didn't play that much. I think they only had him play in the first drive or first series of the game, and it makes sense. That's going to be their number 1.
I think he played more than that.
No, it says that he played well with the opportunity he was given, which we know. He was 5 for 8, 67 yards, no touchdowns, and an 89.1 QBR. So if anything, he maybe played like 1 or 2 series. But it was smart enough for them to do that because going into this year, especially with Will Levis out, you know he's going to be their number 1 quarterback.
Yes.
You do not want to risk him getting hurt because if he gets hurt, especially as a rookie, that team is already probably not going to be very good. If he gets hurt, that team may win 0 games. 0. So it was understandable of why they only played him for so long, and he was pretty decent. I saw him make a couple really good throws to Calvin Ridley, which is really important because that's going to be their wide receiver number 1. So if he can connect with him very well, that may actually help their offense a little bit more than what a lot of people would expect. But like I said, very small sample size. We're curious to see how well he does in other preseason starts that he has, and as well as obviously the regular season. The other one was Travis Hunter. His was very, very underwhelming to me. Now, granted, he didn't play much either.
And there are a lot of eyes on him.
Oh, there's tons. He's got the limelight right now.
He is, I believe, going to be the first player to play both sides of the ball since Deion Sanders. Or Deion Sanders or D'Angelo. Did D'Angelo Hall play both sides of the ball at one point?
He may have. I don't even
When he was on the Falcons, I think he did for like maybe one season.
But it was rare.
Well,
Julian Edelman did too. Julian Edelman played wide receiver, and then they had him play in, I believe it was safety at one point too. But it was rare. They didn't use him for much. I don't think it was at the same time either.
I don't think when Edelman did that, it was for an entire season.
No, but that's what I'm saying is I think he did it for a couple games or maybe not even a couple. It was just one game where they needed somebody.
The Patriots don't even know what they're doing. They put Gronk out at safety.
Well, yeah, we know.
And then we all know how that play ended up.
Yeah, it's very bad. But yeah, so Travis Hunter started in his first game, so he showcased his dual skill set.
What I was saying is that there's not only a lot of pressure on him because he's the second overall pick, but for him to go in and say, hey, I could play two sides of the ball in college, why not in the NFL? For him to say something like that, just like when we spoke about AAA being different from the MLB, college football is different from
no question.
The NFL.
Of course it is. It's way different.
It's a faster pace in the NFL. There's not as much stoppage. Because in college football, there is a lot of stoppage. Like within the 2 minutes, if you catch a first down, the clock stops.
Yeah, and then it starts up again when you get to the line of scrimmage.
In the NFL, that doesn't happen.
I know. In the NFL, its clock keeps running.
What I wouldn't be surprised happens is Travis Hunter, with the way that the Jaguars could use him or potentially use him, if they overuse him, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get hurt and misses a significant amount of time.
I hope for NFL's sake he doesn't.
I'm not saying I hope he does because Travis Hunter's a phenomenal athlete, freak athlete, but I hope he does pretty well on both sides of the ball.
I hope he does too. So, like what I was saying, he only had 2 catches for 9 yards. He only played 10 snaps on offense, and he actually only played 8 snaps on defense, and they didn't target him at all. So we didn't really get to see him do all too much. So obviously, people are going to be looking more forward to seeing him do what he can do in the actual regular season. They're not going to play him much either. Like we've said, if you are a top, I don't even know, I'd say maybe even a first-round pick in general, most of the time you are going to see immediate starting action because there's a reason why they're drafting you that early. You're that good. Yeah. So they're not going to put a lot of these guys out on the field. Obviously, it's the smarter thing to do. You don't want any of them to get hurt, so you didn't really see much from him either.
Now,
Abdul Carter, which I know you're thrilled about, looked very, very good in the short period he was out there.
I believe he only played 6 snaps, and people are saying, it's the preseason, it doesn't really matter. What people don't realize is the Bills had their starting O-line out there when Abdul Carter was playing.
Well, and the crazy thing is I believe he played 2 series. The first series, he got 2 quarterback pressures in less than 3 seconds. From the snap to the quarterback getting rid of the ball, he was basically right on him. That's insane. This guy is going to be an extremely good player.
If you look at what Micah Parsons tweeted out over the weekend, I don't know if it was over the weekend or if it was like closer to the draft time, but it recently resurfaced like within the last week or weekend or a few days.
Micah.
He goes, they asked me how good Carter was, and I said he could be the best one that there is.
Yeah, he's that good. We know. There's a reason why, and I love his confidence for you guys too. I saw them doing interviews probably before the draft.
Abdul Carter said, "If I look messy, don't worry. I'm not getting a haircut until I get my first sack in the NFL."
Yeah,
and I don't think that'll take. I don't think that'll take that long.
It's among those lines. Kind of what I was going to say is they interviewed him and said, "Well, how do you feel? Like, do you feel that you should be the number 1 pick?" And he said, "Yes, I believe that I'm the best player in the draft." And they said, "Well, what do you feel about you potentially falling to like number 2 or number 3?" And all he basically said was, well, it doesn't really matter. I know that I'm the best, and whoever takes me is going to see that side of me, and it doesn't really matter where I'm drafted. Just know that when I get to the NFL, I'm not even just going to be the best defensive player. I'm going to be the best player in the NFL. That's the type of confidence you want. And I'm telling you, I have a feeling you're going to be thrilled. He's going to be extremely good for the Giants, especially with the D-line they have now.
The Giants D-line has the possibility to be the best in the league this year.
It's up there. A
lot of people are sleeping on the Giants. I know they have the toughest schedule in the league.
They have a very tough schedule.
But a lot of people are sleeping on this team. I think
it's more offensive-based reasons though than defense. It's not the defense.
It is very offensively based, but I do think that if you look at the Steelers last year, their offense really wasn't the best, right?
And they still went 9-8, right?
They went to. I don't know how hard their schedule was, but Russell Wilson was able to keep them in the game because Russell Wilson's not I know he's up there in age, but he's not no scrub.
Oh, no, he's no scrub. No
Russell Wilson can still throw the ball.
Still Super Bowl champion.
Exactly.
So,
but if you look at last year, right, they made the playoffs, but the Steelers' defense is what kept them in games.
Of course, and I think the Giants' defense
I have a
will do
feeling
the same.
that if the Giants' defense only didn't get better on the defensive line, the entire defense itself got better.
They did.
They got their secondary was better, and they made like the Javon Holland signing. Love it.
Yep.
Paulson Adebo signing. Love it. Now, Drew Phillips, I believe, got hurt in the Buffalo game. I don't know if he's still out. And Deonte Banks got carted off the field the other day. I don't know why. But if they need another cornerback, there's still a pretty good one sitting in free agency.
Asante Samuel Jr.?
Yes. I don't know why no team has signed him.
I don't know why no team has signed him either. I'm hoping that maybe the Rams end up signing him because they do need secondary help. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of our teams kind of go after.
But speaking on the Giants real quick, the Bills also had their starting defense in for a little bit, right? And the Giants' offensive line, I don't think they allowed a single sack.
See, I don't know how deep that goes, but they didn't play bad.
The Giants' offensive line actually played pretty well.
Yeah, no question. And they should play a little bit better too. Obviously, it's like I said, they spent a little bit more time focusing on building their defense and their O-line during the offseason, whether it be through drafting or signing guys. So they definitely will be better. But I do want to talk a little bit more because we're going to get to some more Giants players that I have on this list. There were a couple other players that I did really want to touch on before we start getting towards the college football part of this episode. Yeah. So we'll try and make this a little bit quick too. So we have Ashton Genty, who was the number 6 pick this year in the draft out of Boise State. And he did not really have a very good night at all during the preseason as he had 3 carries for -1 yards against Seattle. Now, granted, the O-line was not looking good at all that night. Seattle's defensive line looked very good. Genty was just not able to find the hole. He had 1 carry, I believe, that ended up going 3 yards and then proceeded to lose 2 on the other 2. But
I wouldn't worry, Las Vegas fans. I wouldn't worry.
Me either.
You have a great head coach, and
they have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball.
They have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball, yes. Their defense is also really not that bad.
No, it's not bad. I think they'll definitely upgrade.
When you think of Pete Carroll, and you think of, all right, Pete Carroll may not be the smartest head coach when it comes to choosing plays like towards the end of the game.
Fumble. Or no, sorry, not fumble. Interception at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
But that's my point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. When you think of Pete Carroll and you think of running backs, the first person that comes to mind is Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
And Marshawn Lynch was an absolute animal.
Yeah, he was.
I know he played for Buffalo for a few seasons.
Yes, he did.
But I don't think he became the actual star that he was until he went and signed with Seattle.
Yeah, he was much better in Seattle, I believe, than
he was. Did he sign with Seattle or was
he
traded there?
That might be something you want to look up. I think he was signed there, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, Pete Carroll's going to do really well, I believe, with Ashton Genty as well too. I believe their O-line should be better. They really get much production that one night. A little rust, I believe, but Genty will have a breakout game. Was he traded?
Marshawn Lynch was traded to the Buffalo Bills. Traded from the Buffalo Bills on October 5th, 2010.
Wow.
The Seahawks acquired him in exchange for a 2011 4th-round pick and a conditional 2012
Wow, they got
pick.
him for a steal, too. Okay, wow. So that's news to me. But, yeah, like we said before, Pete Carroll will do well with Ashton Genty as his running back. No question about it. I think the O-line will be better.
It goes to show you how well Pete Carroll is at developing running backs.
Oh, he develops them
when
extremely
Marshawn
well.
Lynch was on the Bills, it doesn't seem like he was that good.
Now, another name that I want to talk about real quickly, too, is Tetaroa McMillan, wide receiver for the Panthers.
I believe, I'm saying this right now, if Travis Hunter or Ashton Genty doesn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's going to be Tet McMillan.
See, we have another name on this list. I will argue this with you at some point down because he's later on this list. I said the same thing. I think he's in the conversation, no question, because he's going to be the Panthers' number 1.
I don't think people understand how sneaky good the Panthers can be this year.
Oh, the Panthers are going to be much more competitive than people think.
Bryce Young played very well at the end of last season.
I'm glad you said. Somebody argued with me at my store about it too. They said, "Oh, well, they're not going anywhere with Bryce Young." And I said, "Are you kidding me?"
The last 6 games. So to start the season, Bryce Young came out. He struggled. He still looked like he was like the same Bryce Young from his rookie year. And then they sat him for Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton came in, and I guess I don't know what happened with Bryce Young, but they sat Andy Dalton, and Bryce Young came back for the last 6 games of the season or so. He was amazing.
He was a top 10 quarterback the last 7 or 8 weeks of the season when he played.
I believe he played only 6
or
games.
6, whatever, 6 games. He was still, I believe they said that his QBR and his passing yards was like 7th in the league. So he's definitely good enough. I had someone argue with me the other day about that, saying, "Oh, well, Bryce Young isn't going to win anything." And I said, listen, granted, he may not win a Super Bowl, but I'll tell you what, Bryce Young is a lot better than people advertise him to be.
I'm not saying Bryce Young's going to win a Super Bowl this year. I'm not saying he's not going to win one in his career, because it's very possible. We don't know how it pans out. But
of course.
What I'm saying is that they have a young receiver in Ted McMillan who is an absolute animal, right? And I believe they have the perfect guy there to mentor him. Like
Adam Thielen?
They have Adam Thielen there to mentor him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ted McMillan doesn't have the athletic ability to.
Oh, he's got it.
To succeed in the NFL. But, these young players in the NFL, they always wind up making a stupid decision.
Well, yeah, he just needs guidance, I believe. He just needs to be mentored a little bit.
I'm not saying their on-field decisions are stupid, but some of them off the field are like...
Well, no, but there are athletes in every sport that make some really stupid decisions too. But I believe that Ted McMillan's definitely going to be one of the options for Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. Tyler Warren we'll talk about a little bit more too. He played fairly well. He had 3 catches for 40 yards in his debut. He did actually have a 7-yard catch that was called back on a penalty. But overall, he did look well. He has, extreme upside, and he's got an extensive skill set. But the only thing that I'm curious to see is how well he does depending on his quarterbacks.
Anthony Richardson, I don't know if he'll be
he
back.
Got blasted.
I don't know if he'll be back for the start of the season.
I don't think he will, and that means that
I
they're
saw
going to rely.
I saw a picture of like his finger, and it was like this.
Yeah.
They're going to rely on Vanilla Vic, Mr. Trips over his own feet, concussion boy, neck injury man.
Love lost.
No
love found.
What else?
Man.
The reason the Giants franchise went down a spiral, the reason Saquon's on the Eagles, Mr. Daniel Jones.
Yeah, the thing is,
that one playoff game gave Daniel Jones that contract.
If he comes out and plays well with the Colts, I don't even know what to say at this point. I don't think he will. I genuinely think it was a mistake taking him as early as the Giants did.
He actually played pretty well.
I know he didn't play bad. He didn't also look fantastic, though. He looked okay.
But he's looking better with the Colts than he did with the Giants.
Well, they also have Shane Steichen, who's like another quarterback whisperer. So they better figure out something with him. But again, I think Tyler Warren will be very good. I think he's going to get a decent amount of targets for a tight end position would. Obviously not Brock Bowers caliber, because he's not the number one option. They still have Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. They still got some options, and they still want to run the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor as well too. But I think Warren has a very, very good chance of being one of the better tight ends in the league at some point in his career. I just don't know how great they'll be this year with Daniel Jones.
I think another thing that Warren has, like he has a little extra motivation to do well this season, is because he wasn't coming out of college. He was tight end number 1, but he wasn't the first tight end taken in the draft.
Yeah, I think it was more based off of what skill set certain tight ends had that benefited each team. Like the Bears needed that wide receiver style tight end.
That's why they took
Loveland. Whereas Warren is very versatile. He can do multiple different things. He can block. He could run. If you need him to throw a trick pass, he can do that. He can catch the ball well. He hurdles people. The guy is a freak athlete as well too.
That's another thing. Not only does Penn State produce linebackers like crazy,
they produce freaks.
They produce tight ends like crazy, too.
Well, they just athletes. They just, between running back, you got Saquon, Abdul, Micah Parsons, Tyler Warren. They got some freaks.
Another player that
Allen Robinson.
No, but Theo Johnson, the Giants tight end. A lot of people don't even realize that he went to Penn State.
Yeah,
better than people say that he is.
The only thing that they may not have really produced as of recent was quarterbacks, but I mean, well, that's besides the point.
Trace McSorley was Saquon's like quarterback.
Yeah, but
like, he ain't NFL ready.
No, he's not.
He played like 2 or 3 games in the NFL.
Speaking of quarterbacks, though, I'm going to talk about your boy Jackson Dart, drafted with the 25th pick in the 2025 draft out of Ole Miss. He debuted against the Bills in Week 1, as you definitely saw. And he gave you a little bit of a breath of fresh air because he came out, was 12 of 19, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 106.0 quarterback rating, and he also had 3 carries for 24 yards. He actually did look pretty well. I watched a good portion of that game. The first drive, he didn't really look that great. Now, granted, it was against Buffalo's number 1 offense, and he's still a rookie. He's young.
Number 1 offense, and
he's
Buffalo's
a project.
Defense. Yeah.
He's going to be a project. He's not one. I've said it to you multiple times. I've said it to other friends of mine who are Giants fans. I think it would be very, very stupid
if they
for
go
the
out
Giants
Week 1 and start him.
Well, no, not just week. At any point during this year, you have Russell Wilson. You have Jameis Winston. Let him learn. Let him mentor. He's young. Your offensive line still isn't the best offensive line, so you don't need to throw that kid out there. He's going to have plenty of time to learn. Let him learn under Wilson. Let him learn under Winston. He gets the best of both worlds and can kind of pick the brains of both and let him grow. You do not want to rush him out.
What I think that they're going to do with Jackson Dart is they're going to use him kind of like how the Saints use Taysom Hill.
I would be very, very stupid in my opinion.
But what I mean is not like, you know how like every so often they'll put Taysom Hill in at quarterback to throw a deep ball, or like if they're in the red zone and shotgun formation.
I know what you were saying. Yeah. Not just like, run the ball. No, I know. But I still think that it's very, very interesting. If they decide to play him, it better be like super, super late in the year.
I don't think that if they do decide to play him, I think it'll be after like week 9 or 10.
I think it would be if they are having of a record that means that they are definitely not going to be anywhere close to the playoffs. Like if they start out like 2-8, I would not be surprised if they say, hey, you know what? Give the kid some reps. Let him kind of learn. I still don't think that's the right idea. That's why you have Winston there. But listen, I'm just a guy. I'm not a GM.
Let's say I'm not the one that's happening. Let's say Russell Wilson gets hurt, right? And Russell Wilson, let's say the Giants are in a spot where they're actually playing well with Wilson. He gets hurt. Mm-hmm. You throw Winston out there for 1 or 2 games, and Winston is god-awful. And the Giants were still in a spot with Wilson that – this is all hypothetical, people. Don't come at me. That they were in playoff contention with Wilson. And Winston goes out there and throws 3 games. Mm-hmm. And Dart continues to play the way he did in the preseason. Do you think Dable is like, we'll give the kid a chance? Give him one game. They give him one game. I think they would. They give him 1 game, and then if Dart plays the way he did in the preseason, Dart starting quarterback till Wilson comes back.
But here's my thing. Like I was saying before, I kind of said that. Yes, I would. And the only reason why I said should not play him unless you physically have to. If you don't have to, I wouldn't. But if it's like Winston or Wilson gets hurt and Winston's not looking good, and maybe you start out really hot, you win some games nobody thinks you're going to win, and you look like you're going to actually make a decent run, you have a shot at making the playoffs, sure, yeah, I can understand that. But if you say you start out and you're 1-3 and Wilson gets hurt, and then Winston comes in and you lose another 3 games, I would not throw Jackson Dart out there after. I'd say, you know what? Put Tommy DeVito in. Let him just ride out the rest of the season. You get yourself a better draft pick, and you still let him learn.
Tommy DeVito might not even make the roster.
He's going to be on the practice squad. There's no doubt about it that he's going to end up on their practice squad.
And
all they have to do is call him up from the practice squad and immediately elevate him, and he can go right back into a game. And
I don't think they would do that. I think
they would. It would put butts in seats.
It would put butts in seats, but I think what the people would want to see is if Winston isn't playing well and Wilson gets hurt, I think the people are going to want to see Jackson Dart.
Yes, they're going to want to, but the thing is, like I said, if you are not going to make the playoffs, this kid is young. You do not need to have him going out there and getting himself hurt behind maybe an O-line that's not playing as well. Or it's just not worth it. The kid is super young. You need to let him go out and get mentored and learn. He's a project. We knew that going into the season when he first got drafted. So I just think that it's a little bit early. However they decide to do it.
I'm not saying it's nothing against the coaching staff and what they decide to do. It's just that I know as a Giants fan, at some point I would want to see Jackson Dart on the field this season, whether it be another 3-18 season, or we somehow shock the world and go like 9-8 or something, or 8-9.
Yeah, exactly. Now here,
hot take. I'm saying this right now. I do think the Chiefs Sunday Night Football game is a trap game. It's the Giants' home opener. I do think the Chiefs will come there, and I do think we will beat them.
Listen, hats off to you. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and comment on that. We'll get there at some point. We could talk about it a little bit more. Now, the two names that I definitely did want to bring up, though, which is like I was saying, I will argue with you about Teteroa McMillan being the Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's two names.
Emeka
Egbuka and Travion Henderson, both kids from Ohio State. One as a wide receiver going to Tampa, one as a running back going to New England. I think that Tampa Bay, especially with Chris Godwin out, will now get to use a little bit more of Emeka Egbuka. I think that he's going to have an extremely good year. To be honest with you, he reminds me a little bit of Jackson Smith and Jigba. And the only reason why I say that is because he started out as a number 3 receiver, technically on the depth chart right now. If you have Evans and Godwin, he's your number 3.
Yep.
An injury happens and you got to say, somebody's got to get moved up. This kid, I think, gets moved up and makes the most of his opportunity, just like he did. He's the leading, I think he leads in receptions in Ohio State history, if I'm not mistaken, when he graduated and when he left and got drafted. This kid, I have a feeling, is going to be really good, and I would not be surprised if he is the Offensive Rookie of the Year, other than Travion Henderson, who I also have on here.
I'm going to say one thing. When Godwin comes back, where do they slot him in? If Egbuka is not performing to where they think he should be, do you think they would slot Godwin in?
They slot Godwin back in at the 2, and then they move Egbuka back down to 3, and you just give him a little bit less targets and less touches.
And then another thing, right? Well, I don't understand, right? I believe it's, what's his name? It's not Joshua Palmer. It's
from who?
Tampa Bay. He tweeted last year, I woke up pissed off.
Damn it. Oh, shoot.
And then he put up like 150 yards.
Well, it's not McMillan.
No, it's not.
Oh, man.
It's not Joshua Palmer.
Is it Trey Palmer?
I got to look that up.
Why do I feel like it's Trey Palmer? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if it's Trey Palmer. Yeah, he was like woke up pissed off today. I remember that too. I just don't remember what his name was. But that's crazy. But I want to touch a little bit on Travion Henderson too, once you finish looking that up.
It is Trey Palmer. I woke up.
Trey Palmer.
He goes, I woke up pissed off today like an MF.
Yeah, of course.
And then he went off and he played amazing. Why doesn't he do that every Sunday?
Well, they also have Jalen McMillan too as one of their receivers as well, if I'm not mistaken either, for Tampa Bay. I could be wrong. I thought that was one of their other guys, unless I'm saying his name wrong. I'm pretty sure it's McMillan, though.
Football wide receiver. Yep, he is Tampa Bay.
I'm telling you, I'm crazy, dude. I think Tampa Bay will have a good year, but like I said, I think Emeka Egbuka is going to have a pretty decent year, especially if Godwin is out. Now, the other guy that I was just saying his name, I think he's going to have a very good year as well, is Travion Henderson. And the only reason why I say this is because over the past couple years, the Patriots have seen a little bit of decline from Ramondre Stevenson.
Was he drafted before Judkins?
No, I believe Judkins was drafted, I believe, with the was it the first pick in the second round by Cleveland? And Henderson was drafted with the pick 38, so I believe that was like pick 4 or 5 in the second round. So they were close to one another. Both running backs got picked close. But Travion Henderson, in my opinion, I feel like is going to have a big year, just like I said, because Ramondre Stevenson has seen a lot of decline over his career. He's had problems with injury. He's had problems with fumbling the football. He hasn't really broken out to like other years where he was there. I think that the Patriots, especially now, under a new style, quarterback going into his second year, new head coach, new number 1 wide receiver, I think a lot of things in their offense change. And I would not be surprised if on first and second downs, you see Travion Henderson out there carrying the ball for New England. I think he's going to be very good. I think that it's possible that they make the playoffs. A lot of people have them as sleeper teams. I think that they're going to be a lot better than people expect.
I'm going to say one thing about the Patriots, which might piss a few Patriots fans off. What they don't realize is Stephon Diggs is coming off a torn ACL.
Yes, but he's an upgrade at whatever else they had.
I know he's an upgrade at whatever else they had, but saying that Stephon Diggs is your wide receiver 1. Okay, yes, Stephon Diggs, great player. Oh, yeah, we got Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver 1. That's amazing when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Players, it's different for everybody when they tear their ACL and they're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Saquon tore his ACL the year after. He didn't really play that well. He played a few games. He got hurt. His ankle swelled up. He had one amazing game against the Saints, whatever. Then there's people like Adrian Peterson, tear their ACL, come back, win league MVP.
Yeah, well, everybody's a different animal.
And then there's people, different sport, but like Ronald Acuna Jr., who tore his ACL in one knee, came back, played amazing for 1.5 seasons, tore the ACL in his other knee, came back and continued to play like nothing happened. But I feel like as a wide receiver,
mm-hmm.
I know their body may be a little more fragile than other positions, because I know Sterling Shepard tore his ACL, came back, I believe. But I don't know if he tore it once or twice. I don't know. But all I remember is the last play against either a Thursday night game or a Monday night game against Dallas. He was running, and then he decided to start walking at the end of his route at MetLife. He was literally walking, and he tore his ACL.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's not good. And I'm not saying Diggs is old. I'm just saying Diggs is not as young as he used to be.
Well, no, you're 100% right. It's just
there's no telling how good he's going to be when he comes back from
no
that
question.
ACL
I just definitely believe that he's better than what the Patriots had in prior years at wide receiver, because they really haven't had much.
Let me look at their wide receiver room.
Because I do want to end up getting to college football at some point. I do have one other name I want to mention from the NFL preseason, because I know we're running pretty long right now. We love talking about football, especially since it's right around the corner. I'm excited for it too. But the one last name I'm going to mention, obviously, once you just figure out the whole Patriots.
Yeah, no, their wide receiver room is pretty
bad.
Diggs is the wide receiver one.
That's what I'm saying. He's their wide receiver one. But the last name I want to mention on here, which it would be almost impossible for me not to mention this guy's name, is Primetime himself. Just kidding. He's not primetime yet.
Shedeur Sanders.
Mr. Shedeur Sanders came out and played, in my opinion, I thought he played extremely well. He did have some moments where it didn't really look as great, and he still wasn't even thrilled with his performance when he spoke to his dad.
I know he wasn't thrilled with his performance, but this is what I'm going to say. A lot of people are comparing stats between Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Sanders, because they were the first 3 quarterbacks taken. Sanders got the most playing time out of any of them.
Yep. Even though now he is hurt, he has no injury.
Sanders played 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Ward played 1 or 2 drives. Dart played 4 drives. You can't really compare their numbers in a way to what Shedeur did, because Shedeur put up 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns, but that was within the course of 3 quarters. Jackson Dart had more passing yards, more rushing yards within 4 drives. He had 1 less touchdown, but I believe his QBR might have been even a little better than Shedeur's was.
Well, yeah. Well, no. Dart's was actually lower. 106.8 for Shedeur, 106.0
but
for Dart.
What I meant was his completed passes to missed passes is better than what Sanders was. Yeah. Dart was 12 for 19. Sanders was 14 for 13. Sanders missed 9 passes where Dart missed 7.
Yeah, but now the thing is, like I said, I'm not really trying to compare them, but I'm just saying for the sake of he was doubted by a lot of people.
I know
he
was doubted. What I'm saying is that people are saying, I'm not comparing them either. I'm saying this is what I've been seeing from people online.
Oh, yeah.
It's still the preseason, number 1. Number 2, you can't really compare stats if it's not an equal amount of playing time.
Of course. No, you're right.
Because if you're just showing somebody this sheet and they know nothing about football,
they'd think he was good.
They'd think that Cam Ward was not deserving to be the first overall pick.
Yeah.
They think that Jackson Dart was a steal at 25.
Yep, and they think that Shedeur should have been the number 1.
Exactly. And that's not the case.
I know, but we're not saying that. I'm just saying for the sake of in his first game, a lot of people had doubts against him and said, oh, well, there's a reason why he fell as far as he did. It's all nepotism because his father was in the NFL and was a Hall of Famer, blah, blah, blah. And then he comes in and he actually played fairly well. I thought he did very, very well for his first game, not really even getting first team reps, working with another team. He played well. Even the passing touchdowns he threw were good throws. They were on the money. So
I will say, I think it was his first or second touchdown. It was a dot.
But that's my point. It's like for someone who has been doubted, for someone who fell as far as he did in his first showing in the NFL, granted it's only preseason, he played well. I'm not saying that he deserves to be the number one on their team or deserves to be the starter coming out the gate, but he definitely surprised a lot of people. And I thought for sure he was going to play well enough.
I'm saying this right now. If Joe Flacco's hurt, right? No.
No. Shedeur is.
Shedeur got hurt.
He hurt his oblique.
Kenny Pickett's out. I think Kenny Pickett's hurt. Dylan Gabriel. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel's still hurt.
I don't know if he is either. I know he was at the game, but
no, it's Will Howard that's hurt. I think.
Will Howard's not on that team.
No, but I'm thinking of college quarterbacks that came out of college.
Yeah.
Will Howard's on the Steelers, but I think
I have a feeling he's going to be good too.
I think he's out for a little bit too.
That's okay.
But what I'm saying is that Dylan Gabriel. I know Dylan Gabriel didn't play that well.
I don't think he even played. He was on the sideline watching when Shedeur was playing in non-pads, no uniform.
True. Wait. Yeah. No. I saw a training camp clip.
Well, he didn't look that great.
He didn't look that great in training camp. So they had. But what I don't understand, right, is this draft pick of Shedeur was in the 5th round, right? Or the Browns only took him because he was still there. Like they saw he was there when Dylan Gabriel was there, and they're like, you know what? We don't want this man. His dad is Dion, which could be a problem because his dad came out and said a few years ago that if he was a young quarterback, he wouldn't want to be playing in Cleveland because they're a horrible team.
Well, yeah, I know. I remember him saying something like that as well too. So
and then you have Shadeur's attitude problems. You have Shadeur's attitude problems. His big ego, his confidence, whatever. But for Shedeur to do what he did for the Browns and for him to be happy is kind of shocking because the way that they treated him was like, we don't want you here. Mm-hmm. We don't need you. We're taking Dylan Gabriel. We have Kenny Pickett. We have Joe Flacco. We're fine. They only took him because they're like, whatever. If he's still here, we're going to take him.
Yeah, no, it's true. But we can move on very quickly, even though I don't know. It's up to you.
His brother also played pretty well.
Shiloh, yeah, he did play fairly well too. But we're going to try and wrap it up here fairly quick. I mean, even if we want to, I could probably just bring up now the top 25 rankings. We don't really have to touch on it much, but I know this is just to get everybody excited for college football.
I want to say one thing quickly, or I don't know if I do this at the end, but I do want to quickly touch upon UFC.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the cards that are gonna happen tomorrow. I'm talking about the ESPN selling the rights of UFC to Paramount.
Yes, I saw that
for $7.7 billion, and a lot of people are probably gonna be like, "Yay, pay-per-view is gone. It's gonna be on Paramount Plus, which you're gonna have to pay $15 a month for, but that's not that much." People are gonna probably wonder why ESPN sold the rights. And here's the thing. ESPN is owned by Disney. Mm-hmm. Disney owns ESPN. They own Hulu. They own a lot of stuff. That's why there was the bundle. Disney is getting rid of Hulu, and I don't know what they're doing with all the shows there. They might be just moving them to Disney Plus, which would be smart. But ESPN is losing money. Disney's not making any money off of them. They're losing money from ESPN. So what I believe happened is that Disney came to ESPN and was like, well, you have to make us X amount of money or we're going to either try and sell you or we're just drop you. So ESPN was like, what could we do that wouldn't mess up what we have and still keep Disney happy? So they saw the rights for UFC and was like, hey, Paramount, you want to buy this from us? Give us $7.7 billion.
And they took it. Wow.
Which, that is still a lot of money.
Oh, it is, but I know UFC fans will probably be excited about that because the pay-per-views won't be.
And Disney's probably happy because they made a lot of money off of that deal.
Now, that's something that I'm excited for as a UFC fan, but I got to try and look into seeing.
Isn't there a good card this Saturday, though?
Not really so much, I believe, this Saturday, but I could be wrong. I know that there should be some coming up at one point. I don't remember if it was this Saturday. This Saturday, I know that, but it may not be like a major. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Dricus Duplessis versus Khamzat Chimaev for, I believe it is the middleweight or bantam. No, I think it's middleweight. I'm almost positive that it's middleweight. I may be an idiot, but yes, it is the middleweight main event title fight between champion Dricus Duplessis and Khamzat Chimaev, and the rest of the card is decent. They have Jared Cannonier going up against Michael Page, or MVP, Michael Venom Page, however you want to put it. Jessica Andrade is fighting against Lupe Godinez. Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates, which should be a decent fight. But obviously I know everyone's looking forward to the Dricus versus Khamzat fight. But going off of UFC, we could just wrap it up real quick here. We'll bring up one little thing. I'm just going to touch on the college football rankings. They finally released the preseason top 25. We could get a little bit more into it next week. I'm actually going to I do have some predictions about what I think is going to happen in regards to certain conferences and the playoffs and rankings and stuff. But they released the rankings. Top 10, you're looking at Texas Longhorns 1, Penn State Nittany Lions 2, Ohio State defending champs at number 3, Clemson Tigers 4, Georgia Bulldogs 5, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at 6, the Oregon Ducks at 7, Alabama Crimson Tide at 8, the LSU Tigers at 9, and the Miami Hurricanes at 10. Then you also have Arizona State, who won their conference championship last year, at number 11.
They almost beat Ohio State.
They're a lot tougher. People are saying that they're easy favorites to win the whole thing next year, or not the CFP, but their conference. They said that it should be pretty much a runaway for them.
I'm gonna rephrase that statement. Arizona almost didn't beat Ohio State. Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah. Cam Scatterbo
almost beat Ohio State.
But then you have the Illinois Fighting Illini, who are 12th, South Carolina Gamecocks, who they are ranked number 13. I think that they're going to be pretty decent this year. The Michigan Wolverines, which that's going to be something that I touch on next week when we talk about this, at number 14. The Florida Gators at 15, the SMU Mustangs at 16, Kansas State Wildcats at 17, Oklahoma Sooners 18, Texas A&M Aggies 19, surprisingly the Indiana Hoosiers at 20. I still don't agree with them being on, but I don't know. I may just be, because their schedule was garbage last year, and they played a pretty weak schedule and made it, so I don't know. I could be wrong. Then the Ole Miss Rebels at 21, Iowa State Cyclones at 22, the Texas Tech Red Raiders 23, Tennessee Volunteers at 24, and the former school of running back Ashton Genty, the Boise State Broncos at 25. There's a lot of really good teams. I personally like the rankings list. I think that obviously it will change.
One question.
Yes.
I follow college football a little bit, but not a lot.
I follow it a ton.
So I know Tennessee's quarterback transferred to UCLA.
Correct. Nico Amaliva. And he did. He left. Amaliva. Yeah, Amaliva to Tennessee.
Nico Amaliva wasn't even really that good. So there's no reason Tennessee fans should be sad about him leaving.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, but
he wasn't the best. Who's their starting quarterback for next year?
That I don't know. I have to look more into that too, because it really depends on what their recruiting class looks like. I don't know who I remember, because obviously it was Milton years ago, and Hendon Hooker was there at one point as well too. Obviously they're off him. Then it was Nico Amaliva, I think, or something like that. He's very interesting last name. I know. Yes, you are correct. He is in UCLA right now. I believe he should be starting for UCLA next year. But like I said, the rankings list, for some reason for me, I find that a lot of people will argue about it and say, well, there's too many SEC teams or too many ACC teams or too many Big Ten teams.
Joey Aguilar. Aguilar?
Yeah. I see, again, he must be new. I don't know who he is.
Senior.
Well, he obviously was not that great because he was not starting any of the other years. He never started for him when I was watching the prior years.
They have two other quarterbacks. One's a redshirt freshman, Jake Merkillinger, and Mason Phillips.
Okay, see, those are going to be guys I'm going to have to do a little research on myself. But again, I think that the rankings were fairly decent. There should be a lot of SEC teams on here. What a lot of people don't realize is the SEC has 10 teams on here. The Big Ten has 6. The ACC has 3. The Big 12 has 4. And then you have one team from the Mountain West and one independent. Obviously, the big Power 4 schools deserve to have teams on the list, especially when you look at the SEC. In my opinion, people call me biased. That's the best conference in football, in college football. Is the best conference.
So I know Boise State being on here, a big reason of that or part of that was Ashton Jeanty.
Well, it's also because they did have a fairly good recruiting class, and I was looking at their schedule. Their schedule really isn't that difficult. And other than Jeanty, they still have a lot of pieces.
I also think that I'm not saying it's unfair because every college team can definitely do this, but wearing blue jerseys at home on a blue field
is crazy, yeah.
Is
nasty work.
Is nasty work, not only for the opposing team, but for the quarterback.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. And especially with blue helmets and stuff, too. It's nuts. But my thing is, that's the reason why Boise State, to me, is good enough to go back, is just because they have a lot of guys other than Jeanty that stayed. They have a pretty decent schedule in favor of them. The conference really is not too tough. And obviously, they're one of the bigger team names. Everybody remembers Boise State, the trick play from years ago during, I believe it was the Siesta Bowl or something, Siesta Bowl, something like that, where they made that crazy fake throw to the handoff behind the back. Boise State's always been a pretty popular football school. People love the uniforms, the school.
Was it 2007?
I think so, yeah. It was a while ago. But what I'm saying is people always know that Boise State's a big football school as well, too. Granted, they're not like an SEC team or an ACC team, but being that they're easily, I believe, the best team in the Mountain West Conference. But again, you're going to have a lot of SEC teams, ACC, Big 12, Big 10. They deserve to be there. The recruiting classes are always extremely good. People love watching them play. You got so much talent in all 4 of those conferences, especially, like I said, it's very top-heavy with the Big Ten and SEC. I believe that those 2 are the top 2. I'd say the ACC is fairly close as well, only because they have so many teams that have fluctuated. Clemson's always stayed good, and you really have SMU that's always kind of in the fray, but Florida State's been up and down. Louisville's been up and down. Miami is, again, used to be a powerhouse, then they kind of fell off. It's a good mix. I like the rankings a lot, but we will talk about this more on the next episode before the college football season actually does start, as I do have some projections for where I believe the rankings finish and who I believe makes the CFP playoff. But I'm excited for both the NFL and college football, as they both should be starting very shortly. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 8 of the Straight Outta Stratford podcast. I'm your host, Zach, along with my co-host,
Julian.
And we will see you guys next week.
Yep.